Hello, welcome to the LC Podcast number 23. The LC Podcast is as old as we are now, sort of.
Yeah, really.
Sort of. Hey, I'm Jack. To the left of me, you're right, I've got the lovely Matthew, I've got the lovely Grayden, and I've got the iridescent Jarrod with me.
Ooh.
How's it going tonight? Yeah, Jarrod got a different
special word.
okay,
I'm
got a
associated with
different
lovely because of my
adjective.
gamer tag. But
Yeah, of course.
How's it going? Lad. Add him up.
yeah.
Yeah, how's it going tonight, guys? We feeling good? Oh, and so Peter's here.
I was about to say,
Peter's got a camera now.
You can actually
Wow.
see him.
So when I'm yelling and getting upset, you can see me jump around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jump.
You get to see Peter as we do.
My true form.
Yeah. Are you? Do you think you've got the energy to jump around angrily today, Peter?
No, absolutely not today.
No,
I'm tired today.
You're not feeling so good.
No. It was a rough weekend for
What
me.
did you eat?
You got a plug in your
Yeah.
butt?
I went to a restaurant. We had a couple drinks and we ate some stuff. Nothing crazy, but for the next 36 hours, I was in the bathroom. That was my office. That was my home.
Yikes.
Yikes. Indeed.
Mhm.
Are you sure that it was the food from that restaurant?
That's
'Cause you
my
might wanna-
theory.
You might want to raise a stink about it. You might want to get your revenge on that restaurant.
I
for
need to
giving you
recover
food.
myself first. Then we'll
Yeah.
think about lawsuits.
Well, it seems like you're on the mend though, right?
Yeah, I
So
think I'm on the
Lawsuit
up.
should be the
now.
first area you think of.
Should walk in
Whenever
there.
How
you're,
can I make
wh-
money?
Pants
whenever you're
full.
wronged, whenever you're wronged slightly, always think lawsuit.
Lawsuit time.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you're going to be in better shape for your birthday tomorrow?
I
Peter?
hope so. Tomorrow's just gonna be a long day for me. Work and then
Oh.
class.
Yeah, you kind of have one of those unfortunately placed days where you actually don't get to enjoy it in any capacity except for like a Dairy Queen at later in the day or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
You
That's
guys,
literally my plan. I'm gonna give myself lunch and that'll be nice.
Yeah, you treat yourself, pal.
do you
Maybe
guys
get a suit.
still go out and enjoy your birthday for because it's your birthday? Do you try to get the day off and do something special?
I
No.
spent the day on an airplane. Well, 2 days. I did my birthday
Oh.
twice, and I spent it on an airplane for both days.
Grayden, if you don't mind, I might have to halt that discussion just on the basis that I'm in the middle of editing the last bit of what we have for Celeste right now, and we literally have this exact conversation in the portion that I'm editing, as we speak.
That's okay. They can do it there too.
Yeah. Go check out our Celeste
you
video.
wouldn't have been around, so we wouldn't get your opinion on it. But we went in depth about looking forward to your birthday, trying to get the day off, which we had some differing opinions
The
on.
answer is no.
No,
if you have
'cause
to work on your birthday, you work. That's
Yeah.
Well, and
ridiculous.
it's to the point where it's okay, if people say happy birthday, I don't even have mine on my social media anymore. I've taken it down. I'm honestly, it
You
doesn't
took it
matter to me.
down?
Yeah, I don't have it on Facebook or whatever saying, oh, it's my birthday today.
And wish him a happy birthday.
But some people that wish me happy birthday, awesome.
I'm gonna
But
expose your birthday.
I don't, I don't go out of my way to do anything for it. If I have friends that are hey, let's go for your birthday, I'll be like, sure, why not? But I'm not
sorry,
going
I'm
to.
busy today.
I'm
Maybe
not gonna
next
book,
week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna book off time or spend time planning something for my birthday. It's just at that point I'm.
Hey, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Peter, why are you Googling hydro flasks over there?
Potato, who's in the chat right now? Hi. He said hydro flask, and that's why I was like, is he talking about the water bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that water bottle.
Someone want to give me the rundown on what the deal is with these water bottles? Why are
Okay.
they-
You see them everywhere.
So Hydro Flask originally was when they came out there, or they've been out for a long time, but they were mainly a hiking bottle. But then now that the outdoors has become such a trend in the younger generations,
Sure.
and by trend I mean they go literally up a small mound of dirt and say, "I'm now a hiker."
I'm a
I'm a
scrambler.
hiker then.
They've now become a joke because now everyone gets them, and they'll get the Osprey, they'll get Arc'teryx, they'll get all these big named outdoors companies, just apparel and everything. So now it's become a joke because that's what everyone gets. They get a Hydro Flask, and then they'll have an Arc'teryx jacket, and they'll be like, "Ooh, I'm an outdoorsy person." It's
Can't
a
wait to
whole-
post this on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
Yeah.
Arc'teryx is great, but why would you want to hike in it or anything like that? That stuff's expensive, and if if you like brush it up against a branch, it's like, oh sweet, my $450 jacket has a huge gash in it now. It's like,
But that's the thing, they don't go hiking.
No,
They
yeah,
go up
fair
small.
enough.
They
It's
go
all
up
for
like
show.
Nose Hill and say, I've now conquered the world of hiking.
Yes, I have done it. Anyway, I hope you're ready for
Reached
some
the
targeted
summit.
ads, Peter, for Hydro Flask.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Because I saw
Yeah.
like an entire bar of like Hydro Flask ads on the side there. I was like, well, that's it. All you're going to be seeing for a week.
I won't be forbidden, that's for sure.
Last week, I was like, oh, you know, it would be a sick thing to have, like, if I ever have like a house of my own or something like that. I want one of those like mini bars where it's like the globe that pops up and there's like the booze
Yeah.
inside it. So I Googled those and like there's like cheap recreation ones that are like $200 or whatever. I was like, oh, sweet. I can actually buy one of these things eventually. The past 2 weeks, it's been nothing but globe bars. All of like every targeted ad. It's like,
Well, it's something someone happened with Lululemon because I was doing some dress pants because a lot of the time with me because I do a lot of working out and everything. I have to
about
buy pants that are waist sized way bigger than my legs. And someone told me, they're like, hey, go look up Lululemon stuff. So I looked up, okay, I'll look up Lululemon dress pants. Every single website I go to now, it's Lululemon ABC pants. And I'm like, okay, I get it.
Stop
I'm going
following
to.
me.
I was like, I just wanted to know what they were like or how much they were. So
How much were they?
A
$100
lot.
and some dollars, but with my Sweat Labs discount, like $70.
Alright.
See, that's better.
That's better.
Yeah, no, it's
That's-
not
that's
bad.
better.
I just don't need them right now. But I just wanted to know
Yeah.
if I had an option out
The
there.
ads think you need them right
Apparently.
now.
It was just like I looked up those stupid picture frames because I got some posters from that from the school poster
Stupid.
frame.
Calling my posters
And
stupid.
It's again after I looked that up, the next like 7 days we're like, hey, there's this poster type, there's this poster type. Have you checked this out on Amazon? I'm like, okay.
Is framing your posters like a thing?
Well, it's just because you want, if you buy them, you want to keep them in good shape. So
Yeah,
just to
and
keep them in
and
good
they look
shape.
nicer in the frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been known to have night incidents where I like get out of my bed and I like leave the house or something. That's not actually happening.
So
but-
sleepwalking.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's worse than that.
You say
like,
night incident.
like
night, night terrors.
not necessarily, but like
Like,
So
I just-
somewhere between sleepwalking and night
well,
terrors.
isn't a night? Yeah,
somewhere
that's a
in
good way to
between.
describe it. Isn't a night terror technically like you feeling like you're awake and like a demon is like crawling up your chest? or
That's
something?
sleep
That's sleep
paralysis.
paralysis.
So night terrors are like just
Night
freaking
terrors
out
are
in your
literally
sleep?
severe nightmares. Like it can cause
Yeah, because
physiological impacts.
I have like freakouts in my sleep and I'll like yell or I'll like wake up or something,
So-
but I don't remember my dreams like ever.
I googled it, and it's episodes of screaming, intense fear, and flailing while still asleep.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before.
That doesn't sound very
person
nice at all.
He didn't scream, but he got up and was like quite concerned. It was like pacing around the room and like saying people's names and stuff like that. It was quite freaky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that I have.
My sister, a couple months ago, she has episodes like this, and like she was, I guess, having one, and she texted my mom, "Help! I need help. Come here."
Yikes.
In her
And-
sleep?
In her sleep, and then my mom came down. She was just passed out.
Wow.
That's like a good 10 out of 10 spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty
I
scary.
used to sleepwalk when I was younger a lot and have like various night issues like that.
Yeah.
Not that I remember anymore, but Chelsea also doesn't sleep next to me anymore, and that's
No.
the one that would always inform me of
Why
this
not?
stuff. Yeah, maybe that's why she moved out. It wasn't because she wanted to get out of the house. It's because
wanted to get away
I was
from you.
scaring the shit out of her.
way
You
you
just wake
phrase
up
that-
and you're standing over her bed.
Yeah, the way you phrase that, I thought you and your sister like shared a room. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no, no.
Shared a pillow
Yeah,
too.
I thought
Next to each other,
you meant you shared a bed. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Close family.
Yeah.
Close, very close.
Anyways, like I have night terrors, and I've actually like torn some of my posters in half before, which was really disappointing because then I wake up, I'm physically in pain because I'd fallen out of bed, and I realized that my posters are all messed up, and I'm just like, sad face. So actually, getting frames probably wouldn't be a good idea. That way, I don't mark up my walls too.
Oh, you
'cause I
think
What
you're
if you
gonna rip
break
the
the whole
frame?
frame,
Yeah.
though?
huh?
What if you break the whole frame?
Yeah,
That's
I
just
mean, at
more
least the
money down
poster
the
would be-
brain.
well, how much are the frames usually?
Like, I bought a packs of like of 6 of them, I think.
Yeah.
And that cost me like $120. It was like $21 in that bulk. $21 each.
I guess I'll have to take my chances.
There's some interesting stuff to do with.
Let's get metal
there's-
posters.
There's some research regarding nutrition and what it can impact in your sleeping. It's really cool stuff. I've been reading a few of their papers on them, and they've been having just monitoring through physiology in the brain. They've been monitoring how certain nutritional deficiencies can cause extreme nightmares and extreme sleepwalking, which is very interesting. It's almost causes like a very restless brain state. So you have your REM sleep, you have your deep sleep, light sleep, and it's always your REM that you're dreaming in.
What do I need
Love
to
me
eat
some REM.
to sleepwalk?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying that there's cool studies.
Take this the
related to
road.
Very
It's more like what you have to not eat. It's like you need to have a certain deficiency.
Yeah,
Eat a lot of chocolate before you go to bed.
it'll either make your brain more active, or it'll make certain parts inactive, or it's just very interesting how it works.
You could drop acid before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Then you'll have an awesome
Have some
dream.
shrooms.
Will I be able to sleep?
I don't know. I've never done acid.
Yeah, that's for you to find out.
I've talked to people who've done shrooms before, and they've been able to sleep and stuff. It's actually impacted their dreams a bunch, I guess.
Really? Do you have any
Apparently.
examples?
Well, because it's
I don't-
chemicals in your brain, right? That's what produces
Yeah.
it.
That's
is the
just what I was
chemical.
told. I don't have anything other than that.
It's buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Go on.
I got a lot of shady friends.
Yeah. Because clearly, like, we're all squeaky clean people, right? We don't engage in anything other than the occasional alcoholic beverage. The
What was
occasional
that?
bottle of
What,
pop, right?
It's like he's drinking alcohol out of a teacup.
well,
Speak for yourself.
I have
He's
more
British.
than enough alcoholic beverages. That's why I'm pouring it down my front instead of actually drinking it. So when, any of our experience doing any kind of substances in any capacity is all through our friends and nothing more. And I think we can all
None
agree.
of us have ever done a single drug.
I actually
Except
don't even know
alcohol.
what drugs
My
are.
body's
Every
a
time people
temple.
talk about it. I have to
My
look
body
up the
is a
definition
temple.
and then I
that's what I just said, Jared.
No.
Thanks for copying
Jared
my
can literally
copyrighted
do
line.
the temple yoga stand. His body is a temple.
What kind of temple is it?
It's a healthy temple.
I don't remember.
I'm not going
learning
to
about
worship
those.
this god.
Mine's a
This is
market
terrible
temple.
god.
This is my own god.
That sounds blasphemous.
Never said I wasn't. I just said it's my own god.
I'm declaring a holy war on Jared's temple.
Well, anyways,
Start a
speaking of-
crusade.
Speaking of temples and yoga and fitness, Nintendo released a new thing called Ring Fit Adventure. They teased it a while, so I don't remember what the dates were, but the chain of events were they posted a YouTube video right after, it was a day or two after a Nintendo Direct too, which was really weird because why didn't they talk about it there? Anyways, and it was a sneak peek at a new Nintendo experience, and it's just this ring where the Joy-Cons at the top and they're pushing it together and stuff. Peter's gonna throw up some imagery for you momentarily. And then a little while later, they did a full trailer for it. And it turns out that the game is called Ring Fit Adventure. And
Nintendo made fitness fun.
yeah,
See, Jerry?
yeah.
Fitness can be fun.
Oh man,
basically-
I'm gonna need to buy a Hydro Flask to work out.
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated when you're having
There
so
does
much
look like
fun.
there's a slight amount of dirt there, Jack. You could call yourself a hiker.
So they have one Joy-Con's in the ring, and then the other Joy-Con is in a
it's-
strap that goes around your leg.
Yeah.
And you jog in place to run through this RPG, and then you do different activities and exercises with the ring for moves and objectives in the game. So when you're running through the levels, you have to squat to bounce on a spring, and you bounce from spring to spring, so you do a bunch of squats in a row. And then when you to defeat certain enemies, you have to do certain exercises. But actually, Peter, do you think you'd be able to pull up the trailer, or would that cause us issues?
Can I give you?
What's the game
Can
called
I give
again?
you some
Ring Fit
good
Adventure.
reasons why
Jared,
this is a
watch
bad
the
idea?
trailer. Watch the trailer.
seen
and
the
then
trailer.
We can talk about it.
I actually haven't
showed
seen
me
the
the
I
trailer.
haven't
trailer.
seen the trailer. either.
I showed you the trailer.
We've seen it before on another. We saw that release
This
trailer.
is 2 days ago.
Have we seen it, Jared?
Oh, well,
Ah, finally a protagonist that I can get behind.
Is that,
Do we
the
need
set of
audio?
Lion King?
We don't need
I don't think we need
I feel like
yeah.
I can figure it out pretty well. It looks nice.
It does look nice.
Yeah.
The art design's very nice.
I like the
There's
snow
a
flamingos.
circle. I'm in. I'm in so far.
Yeah.
He's holding the ring of power.
What's the character creation like?
I think you're a boy or girl.
Oh no.
I actually would really.
Is it Temple
genuinely
Run?
consider getting it.
You're definitely gonna get these. What are you talking about?
Well, it seems like a fun game, and if it's, I guess Jared will tell me otherwise, but if it doesn't seem as much of a gimmicky way to pretend you're exercising, and like would actually do some genuine work, it'd be kind of nice. Because like I give myself flack for like just like laying on the couch and watching YouTube, but I can just put YouTube on and like work out. Right? And so like to be able to put like a genuinely fun game and exercise together would be kind of cool.
See, or you buy a VR set and you double down on relying on video games for exercise.
You're the villain in the story. Look at those abs.
Oh, I
going.
couldn't win that. Oh my god.
Dang. Oh, he's even got an exercise ball like you, Jarrod. Did you guys know that Jarrod sits on an exercise ball when
At
he's at
all
home?
times.
Yeah, I use an exercise ball as a desk chair. Because,
Are you a
for your
Jarrod
spine or
wannabe?
something.
Jared inspired me. I asked Jared where you go to buy exercise.
Amazon.
Literally anywhere,
Anything.
yeah.
Well, he was quick to tell me that. Like, I think it looks cool. I think I'll get it.
All right.
How much is it?
All right, here we go.
Here's
Tear
my
it down.
thing.
It's $90.
Here's my thing. I love the idea because sedentary behavior is very huge right now in
Like the world?
the world in
Yeah.
general. That's one of the biggest issues in the world right now is because you're supposed to get 150 minutes a week of vigorous activity,
Yikes.
moderate to vigorous activity, which is a heart rate range of over 135 beats per minute,
Okay.
like sustained for that many minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't get that. So huge sedentary issue. They lead to a lot of things related to heart disease and other diseases. The issue I have with this game, I love the idea that they're trying to reach a sedentary population, which is the gaming population in general.
Mm-hmm.
But the things they're getting you to do,
Out comes the red pen.
the things they're getting people to do, and this is coming from in the clinic, I see a lot of issues with this, and most people don't know how to do it, is doing the moves mechanically safe and properly without causing damage. Especially with a sedentary population, if you are doing squats, even if they're body weight squats, incorrectly and mechanically wrong, you can cause a lot of damage to your knees, a lot of damage to your lower back, your SI joint, and a lot of the lower vertebrae are also very susceptible in sedentary populations.
That's a lot of damage.
So a lot of the stuff that they're doing there, I love that they're targeting a population that isn't normally as active as it should, as like most people in general should be. But how are they like? I mean, it's their ass on the line, right? If someone got hurt doing their game, even with their because they're showing them how to do, they're saying let's do squats, show us how to do squats, but no one is there to properly show them.
Terms
And most people don't actually know how to do these things properly.
Yeah.
Even people that go to the gym, the amount of times I want to hit my head against a wall watching people.
Yeah,
do
I've been with
fitness.
you while you like walked over to somebody and corrected
I
their
have never done
deadlift
that.
posture. No, I was with you when you did it. It was to a couple
That
friends
was
of
not
yours.
me.
Huh?
It was to a couple friends of yours.
Oh, friends.
Yeah.
That's different. I would never go to someone that I don't know. And
I should have
do that.
corrected. Yeah.
You're squatting wrong.
But it's like that is an issue that they need to address because if
Yeah.
people do it wrong, you can cause big issues, especially in
Fascinating.
knees and lower body, like lower back.
So, Peter, do you think it'd be possible to pull up some like gameplay footage that like an actual like walkthrough of the game? Just because what I'd be interested to see is when they show you how to do these moves, like they're definitely gonna have like when I believe when they actually do the moves in the game. There's like a little person in the bottom left that's like showing them. No,
But-
bear with me. Bear with me.
That doesn't teach you. This is why I actually liked Wii Fit better than this.
Yeah.
Is Wii Fit based on balance points in the feet, and as you adjust someone's balance in their feet, you can adjust their entire upper body correctly. If you show them an image that does not correct mechanically how their body's aligned, because they can't see themselves from third person, they are going based on what they feel is correct.
How do you think it factors into play that on the ring that you have, the ring is attached to the Joy-Con, and I imagine how it works is with that ring, it has data that it can send to the Joy-Con. So therefore, it knows your posture up top, and then it's got a Joy-Con attached to your leg. Joy-Cons have AR cameras on the bottom. I don't think it would make a huge difference, but it can measure the position of your like the ring, which then kind of controls how your upper body is. And then bear with me. And then also the leg in relation to one another, could they figure out like what your position is and correct it if it's wrong?
Not because they're not taking in consideration individual variation of joint lengths and limb lengths. Because this is the same thing. This is something like if you're teaching someone how to do an Olympic lift. So you say you're doing power clean. The starting position for power clean depends on the length of the femur, length of tibia and fibia. Depends on a lot of different things in there to what is an appropriate starting point mechanically for that person.
Okay.
Which can change their entire upper body mechanics.
Okay.
So you can have a distance that could be the same, but that ratio doesn't take in consideration all the small things. Like even just to do a squat, the complexity of mechanical like difference in the body is huge.
Like, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but I don't think it's up to Nintendo to teach people. I don't think that's what they're going out and intending.
But I'm not saying that's the thing. I'm
it's
saying
not up to them to educate.
I find it's an issue to they just got to be careful. You asked me why I think it's a bad thing. I think it's because they don't do that. I know it's not their problem. That's not their problem at all. Like if they want to make a game, they're making money off it. Who cares?
Can you press play on this?
But at the same time, I'm saying it's not good because most people don't know how, especially what this is targeting.
Matt, is this kind of what you were wanting to see? Like the controls?
You skip forward a little bit or maybe make the footage go fast because I want to see like when it prompts you to do moves in the game, if it shows like just like somebody actually doing it. And like I agree with you, Jarrod, like isn't going to change if they're doing it wrong. I'm just interested to see like how much information. Yeah, and I was interested to see this too.
I know what Jarrod would pick.
Jarrod wouldn't be playing this game.
The computer's learning so much.
Oh,
This.
heck yes.
Also interested to hear what you thought about that, Jerry. Like that, how to be able to move in the game, you have to jog on the spot. Like, is that even that good of an exercise?
No, that's fine. Like that's not the thing. The simple movements like jogging on the spot, being on your. I mean, now if you're jogging on your heels, you have some serious issues. You're going to cause damage to the ankle joint and knee joint.
I'm learning so much today.
How?
It's a lot of like even just doing that pull like that. When you pull back, if you're not setting your shoulder blades properly, you can tear your rotator cuff. So there's things that you see that you have to be careful with. And again, it's not Nintendo's fault. Like Nintendo's creating a product trying to target
Did you see that? That was dangerous. That's dangerous right there.
I'm gonna get this. I actually am very. I think this is kind of cool. I'm gonna get it.
I'd question how durable this ring is.
Well,
you don't want
I mean,
you
only one
to
way to
push
find
and
out.
pull. And
I question how good of an exercise you can
Can
actually
we
get
do a
by
let's
doing
play
this.
of it if you buy it, Matt?
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Matt and Jarrod do exercise.
No.
No. What if
Jarrod doesn't want to support it.
What if we get
Oh,
like?
Jarrod can't do this.
You kidding me?
Okay, so that's interesting. It's also giving you little bits of advice as
Maybe you
it's
should go back to the bathroom.
Don't worry about it.
bring the insides of your ankles upwards.
Just working in the rehabilitation field, I do have those concerns because I rehab people who get injuries from things that are much less for this purpose, and people who have just started exercising that have injured themselves doing it.
I don't see what you're complaining about, Jerry. You're going to see such an influx in business. You're like, what happened?
That's not exactly
I bought
what
the
I
Wii
want.
Fit. I bought
Like,
the Ring
you
Fit.
want good business, but I don't want people injuring themselves.
You have to use these insights to your advantage, Jarrod. You see the mountainside coming, you let it pass, and you're like, oh, I have food. Ethics, everyone.
Oh, there it is. Character creation.
Hey, there you go.
Cool.
You can choose male or female, and you can choose skin color and hair color.
That's all you need. I was hoping to be a lizard.
Yeah,
but,
that's enough.
You know. Anyways, I don't know.
So I don't know. It might not work as it's supposed to, but I think it could be good in some ways. I mean, do you disagree with it? Like, do you think it just doesn't have the ability to actually give you a decent workout? Like, do you?
No,
or is it
that's
just the concern of?
It's an injury prevention concern. Like, it's not so much like it's good. Again, they have to find, and this is big in the health industry right now, is finding ways to target those sedentary populations.
Yeah.
And I mean, Nintendo has people probably working with them that are in the health field. Like that's not something I'm not taking away what Nintendo is trying to do.
Well,
Because they did a great job with Wii Fit.
You know, like
But what I'm concerned about is when you give something like this, like at least with Wii Fit, with the board, again, you base it on balance and adjusting someone's heel pressure and upper and front of their foot pressure can change mechanically where their body's positioned. Whereas doing a ring and having a sensor on the leg, I mean, I'll give an example. So Garmin's one of the number one fitness wearable technologies in the industry right now. If you took, I'm doing critical power testing right now. So they're doing heart rate, VO2. My heart rate on here is about, when I'm at intense exercise, is about 40 beats per minute off from what it actually is. Same with my VO2. My VO2s, which, I mean, may not sound like a lot because if you don't know about it, but VO2, my VO2 max, relative VO2 max is 10 milliliters per kilogram per minute difference, which is huge when it comes to lung capacity. So, like Olympic swimmers will have a relative VO2 max of like 62, when I'm sitting at about a 55, but my Fitbit will say 50 or 42. Or sorry, my Garmin will say 42. So again, wearable technology, awesome.
not always
accurate.
Okay.
I'm at like a 35.
I don't know if you guys saw, but the Nintendo Switch just recorded this dude's like heartbeat. It's pretty messed up.
Now I'd actually like to maybe talk about what we think of the gameplay style as well, because maybe fundamental issues with the technology aside, like, is this a better way to incentivize someone to work out than Wii Fit? Because I find it kind of interesting. Sorry, Peter, you will get your chance in one moment. I was just gonna add, like, I feel like the fitness games that you're able to do, whether it's Wii Sports or Wii Fit or anything like that, there's not a lot of stuff that necessarily makes you want to go back and play it as if it were an enjoyable game. But there's something cool about the fact that it's like an RPG that you play through and you're directly rewarded for your exercise with better performance in the RPG.
That's
Peter?
what.
Sorry, Peter, go for it.
That's what we in the marketing world called gamification. You apply like game elements to different things like sports, and
Gamification?
it becomes more engaging.
More accessible.
People of our age especially respond very highly to it, which is why you see it a lot in apps and stuff like this.
No, but that's why I said it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's just doing it safely for everyone.
Yeah.
And again, that's not guaranteed anywhere, because you have huge issues. The fitness industry has huge issues right now with people getting, for example, personal trainers are the best thing in the world.
We're back online.
We're back?
Yeah.
We'll start that over. Matt, ask a question again.
So now that we're looking at the battle gameplay, where it asks you to do certain exercises to perform techniques, what is your opinion on this, Jarrod?
Wow, that was so surgically asked.
Also, well, I should also mention, like, we were watching them do a squatting move a second ago, and that inspired Jared's comments. Jarrod?
Yeah, so it's just like I was saying with squats. When people squat in general, most of the time their upper backs round over, and it can cause a lot of issues down in their lower body. A lot of impact on SI joints. Doing a squat incorrectly can damage the little ligaments in your SI joint, which are extremely hard to rehab because of the fact that your SI joint is where your coccyx comes in and your iliac crest connects to it. So it's that's the main hip mobility joint. So when you have that going, if you have that damaged, it makes you have to be even more sedentary to rehab it, which is a big pain in the ass, and they take forever to rehab. Up to, like, you can have year-long, 2 to 3 year long rehabs for SI joints for people who are active, no mind damaging it when you're inactive. So it's not so much, it's just a bunch of stuff that can be damaging if you do things wrong. But that's with any kind of activity that you have movement with your body.
Yeah.
It's like when people say don't go swing a sledgehammer or don't go lift something with your back. It's like, yeah, it's common knowledge, but then how do you correctly squat down to lift it without hurting your back anyways? So it's very it's tough to do that through images because yes, you can look at it and be like, hey, that's awesome. But just from experience, giving people a picture of something and having them perform it, they do not perform it the way the picture is. They perform it the way they think their body is mirroring the picture.
I see. Fair enough. Well, let me ask you another question then. Do you think that people in a fitness rehab center could perhaps make use of this game in assisting people with like motion and stuff again? Because if you're there with someone, you can help make sure that their posture is the best that it can be while also making an entertaining experience for them. Perhaps if you had to maybe do that physical rehab for like a younger person.
Depends on the rehab, because most times to strengthen a muscle you need to move eccentrically slow.
Yeah.
So doing a game like
slow mean?
eccentric means lengthening the muscle slowly.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're doing an eccentric, we'll use a bicep curl because I'm sitting, I'm not going to stand up. Bicep curl, eccentric lowering would be just a very slow lowering against the resistance, causing the cross bridges in the muscle majority of them attach. Because if you do power moves, which are speed and strength, you attach not all the cross bridges, and that can become part of the issue, but that's also specialized training. So when you do rehab, this would be good for someone if you had someone who is wanting to get into fitness, but they weren't really super keen on going to the gym or whatever, but they went to someone that they had centers that would show people how to use it properly and be with them for the first while of playing the game to keep their form, check their form, so they can show them and teach them how to identify it proprioceptive to where their body positioning is, know how to trigger those muscles to properly do that kind of stuff. Then it'd be to me, you'd be fine. Like, that'd be totally fine, because then you can have people go on their own and do their stuff. But again, part of the issue is, and I see this all the time, which is why people come back to see me all the time in the clinic, they'll come back and for certain things, I'll do checkups, but okay, no, show me the moves, show me you're doing them right. I'd say 50% of the time they revert back to what they were doing prior to being shown how to do it. It's tough to, it's very tough to do it well if you don't know what you have to look for to do it well, or don't know how to feel those muscles. Muscle activation is another thing right now that's pretty big in the industry, because a lot of lower back pain can also be caused by you have the three muscles in the glute, which is your bum.
My bum?
Yeah.
The glute medius, you have to target train to train it properly. If you don't target train it, you'll train to the other two large muscle groups, which will cause it to stretch and pull and tear, which causes a lot of lower back pain, because again, glute med's huge in hip mobility, and if you're moving your hips but you have a weak muscle in that area, you're going to cause irritation of the ligaments. So it's are you with me, Peter?
I was about to say, why don't you rein it in and give us your point to all this?
I've been learning a lot.
That's fair.
Okay, well, my point in general is that you have to have someone there to monitor them that knows what they're doing for that position in order to do it safely. Otherwise, majority of the time, I can almost guarantee you, watching someone squat in this, you'd probably be gritting your teeth and hoping that they're going to be okay. Like, it's very tough to do something like that. There's more to it than just, go do a squat or go do a push-up. There's a lot of things you have to take in consideration when you do those various things.
So it seems like it's possible that you heavily disagree with this game's existence.
I disagree with I agree with the fact that they're making something like a population more active.
Yeah.
I don't think adding necessarily certain movements in it would be a good idea. Like, you jogging on spot and running on spot, you could literally have this whole game based on that, and then doing some other stuff, and at least you'd have the cardiovascular system working.
Nobody wants to jog in spot for 40 hours or whatever.
Have you ever played a Kinect game that's actually made by Xbox? That's exactly what it
Yes,
is.
yes, I have. We did it on Indie
I was
Peter.
about to say, you can go check out that episode of Indie Peter on our channel.
So that episode of Indie Peter, I think, hurt my body more than any exercise I've ever done has. When I was knees on the floor doing that wave surfing.
Yeah. That was a good time.
But
My knees hurt, my back hurt, my arms hurt.
You exercised then.
I didn't get anything out of that. I got
You
hurt.
got pain.
Kneeling on the hard floor of your old basement.
But in the end, no, I think it's a good idea to get people more active. I just think you got to be careful with how you do it and make sure, and people got to take in consideration it is certain exercises you do need to learn how to properly brace yourself. Even doing the first move they showed there where they're sitting out doing in and outs like that. If you don't correctly engage your core and tilt your pelvis, anterior tilt, you're going, which is pulling your lower pelvis underneath and up, almost like you're bringing your lower pelvis to your nose. You can cause your SI joint to lock, which can cause, again, the issues I was talking about earlier. But again, we might be getting a little bit too technical.
I feel like people are going to play this game for 15 minutes and then move on. I don't think this is going to be something they'll play for 48.
It's going to be like 1-2 Switch or ARMS or any of those other Switch games.
How long do you think this game realistically is, and what do you think happens after you beat it?
It's an
Like,
RPG, so it has to be decently.
What's the goal of the game once you reach the end game? Do you have to start from square one? Do you get New Game Plus if you want to keep exercising?
That's a really interesting question.
Then you're just done. That's it. You've reached
He
peak
just
physical.
assaulted a deer on the side of the road. Look, he's messing with the wildlife.
You endorse this message, Matt?
So one of the things that I found cool about Wii was when they did the Wii Fit, or sorry, not Wii Fit, sorry, Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Because most people, Wii Sports have generally a good reception.
Wii Sports Resort?
And a lot of the time, especially with the original Wii Sports, I don't know, even if I play it and you play it long enough with friends, you get a bit of a sweat on it. It gets pretty good.
When you're boxing, man.
Yeah, boxing's hilarious. So much fun. But it's just like things like that are different because you're doing movements where there's not a lot to them, but they are getting your heart rate up.
Apparently, there's some good party games in this.
In this game.
You can do power walking with Captain Holt. And
I also just want to give a shout out to X Cage Game, who recorded all of this footage and decided to put 1,700 advertisements on every single episode.
And actually, this is technically
You had to work to get this done.
we have
Fair enough.
we have the like the footage muted, but if it's literally just like the game playing and not any actual commentary,
It absolutely. It's just gameplay.
It technically goes against the terms that Nintendo set when they changed their policy for like YouTube content. Like,
do you think this man cares?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
He has
he's making lots of-
236K subscribers.
This man beat this game on within a couple of days, so he could get this footage out. to
he
the
is now
public.
the peak physical specimen.
Yeah,
You know what?
He's actually a final boss.
Yeah, but
That's one of our liked videos now.
I want to see what party games like. It's a ring. Do you have tug of war? Do you grab two sides of the ring? And
interesting.
two sides of the ring.
I do think it's a cool innovation, but unfortunately, like I find myself studying these kind of circumstances a lot when I do communications classes, and like sometimes people just get
Deltoids.
upset by how things turn out. I got a little distracted seeing the title of the article that Peter just pulled up on his computer.
It might even be better than Super Mario Party. The Verge has made some bold claims.
Okay.
it's better than
What
Mario
did IGN
Party.
say?
Too much water. I had to fill up my hydro flask like 6 times an hour.
There's only words. There's no video.
Damn. Well, that's
They
that.
don't say
That's
exactly
that.
what it's like, but
Bringing it back to
it's
sedentary gaming. You guys doing? What did I say?
You said sedentary.
It's my favorite
Like-
type of rock.
Yeah.
Bring it back to rock hard gaming.
Our other channel.
The new Call of Duty's coming out. What do you guys think of that?
I'm actually, I was having this conversation the other day, and I think it's going to be, I'm interested to see how they do it. It's supposed to be a lot darker of a game than the original one, right? That's like their tenant they're going for is a little bit more of that.
They're kind of going back old school a little bit.
Think I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah.
Just like every other Call of Duty game from the past, half decade or whatever.
Yeah, my family used to get every COD game, and that kind of stopped around Ghost's time.
There's just no reason to it. You
Yeah.
know what you're getting when you play a Call of Duty game. Like what reason do you have for playing it at this point, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I only subscribe to one annual franchise, Pokemon.
What about Smash?
Smash isn't annual.
Annual franchises in like they release a new version of the game every year.
I don't know
The core
anything about
definition of
Smash.
annual is
I don't know.
Yeah.
Either. I didn't know
It happens
Smash.
once
I didn't
Dude,
know
if
Smash
were
didn't come
annual,
up.
I'd cry.
So would the developers.
I want to see how it does. I'm not going to pre-order it because I've learned.
Yep.
Mm.
We,
To not
we all
pre-order games that I
learned
don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
Don't pre-order MMOs. The very first podcast topic
best-
we have.
Isn't it
don't-
close?
don't
you
pre-order
said it was
anything.
close to 1,000.
It's on its way to 1,000 views.
It's not that close
And
yet.
viewer,
but it's
you
getting
can make
there.
that dream happen by watching that video after this podcast.
But I know a lot of people are super interested in this new COD, so I don't know.
I'm interested because it seems like they're rebooting the series. Like they're
they're-
rebooting and they're starting over from where they were. But again, it's just another
But
COD.
it's a completely different story. It's just Captain Price is there.
Yeah, like what's so groundbreaking about it?
I don't think it's groundbreaking. The way it's been described to me from the people I know who have played the beta is they're going back to when COD was good. So Modern Warfare.
What does that mean?
Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, like
I understand that, but
everyone
what
has-
specifically?
Everyone
No-
has a different idea of when COD was good, though.
So here's my thing.
Like, is
Black
it the
Ops 4
gunplay?
was
COD to
Is
me,
it like
COD
what-
for me has become kind of like
Titanfall.
no, like when the new ones prior to this one, 100%.
That's what I mean. Like I just.
But like what COD has become for me has been more so, or it was more of like a NHL where it's like I buy it because I enjoy playing it, but I don't buy it to be like this has to be the best game I play all year because there's no way an NHL game is gonna do that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like I like shooters. I like their style of shooter prior to like their last. Okay,
The
like
space
6
game?
games.
yeah,
Sure.
the space games. So it's like for me, I like those multiplayer shooters. So that's what I would get it for if they go back to what it was like again,
Yeah.
like Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. They're getting rid of the spacesuits.
That's not a tangible thing, though. You know.
Yeah, it's not selling anybody on it. Just saying, hey, we're gonna do things the way we
Boots
used to
on
them.
the
It's like,
ground.
okay, well, wonderful. I've played those games as well. How are you going to make me want to play it the same game now? Right? It's like let's make it analogous to something that you guys do play, like with every release. Assassin's Creed, which used to be an annual release and is now kind of slowed down a little bit, it looks like, but still is a game series that I stopped playing after Black Flag. It was like I'm just burned out on Assassin's Creed. Like it's the same game every time. Sometimes they're really bad, sometimes they're like pretty decent. But like, you know, after Black Flag, you had French Revolution, then you had England during the Industrial Revolution. Then you had, we're in Egypt now. Now we're in ancient Greece. And it's like, how do you sell those games to me, a person who feels burnt out on the franchise and just doesn't want to play it anymore?
I mean, if it's sold the same way I'd sold to myself, where it's like I loved the history put into it. Like I like being able to visit those places because I can't necessarily go afford to visit those places. I know it's very different. I'm not saying that game is anywhere like actually going to the pyramids of Giza or going to Greece and going to the various landmarks. Like I'm not saying that at all. It just, to me, I love history related things. And though that's what intrigues me about Assassin's Creed. It's not even so much the actual gameplay, because you're right, the gameplay is redundant. It just happens over and over. It's the same every game it comes out.
I remember in history when we fought the Minotaurs.
But it's like Greek mythology. That's the other thing that I really
That's pretty
enjoy.
sick.
So I love mythologies of those cultures, and that's why I enjoyed those games. I didn't like Syndicate, and that was one of the ones I don't remember. That was the one based in Europe, and
That was on.
That was
Twitch.
a Victorian
yeah, that
era.
was- so it's like
yeah.
I played maybe half of it and stopped. The most recent two, which is Odyssey and Origins, I played mostly because they were in Egypt and Greece. That is probably one of the only reasons I played those games. I enjoy the Assassin's Creed gameplay, but again, they don't introduce anything new. Like, still to me, one of my favorite ones I ever played, and this is a very controversial opinion, is number 1. The first one ever came out. I enjoyed that game a lot. I enjoyed the other ones too, 2, 3. Or I didn't know, 3 was all right.
Do you like Flags?
3 I liked for the again some of the historical stuff, but the gameplay itself was just kind of stupid.
I really loved playing Chinese checkers with that old man on the homestead that he gave us for no reason.
But no, like for me, that was why I got the most recent 2 and why I put so much effort in, because I really like the mythology, I like the history, and they do a pretty decent job of like trying to recount and trying to be accurate with their games, with like the maps and locations.
Some of their stuff is pretty decent, I will say.
So
but not everything.
No, and that's why I said, like, because taking stuff in class, because, I mean, you took a lot of the related to history and archaeology, and the same thing, that's what I've been doing for some of my options have been history and archaeology, and that's why it's like, for me, it's learning about that stuff, and then going into the games, and then seeing what I just learned about, and being able to, like, explore that idea is just, I don't know, I find that very interesting. That's what intrigues me to those games.
Interesting. Right. Unfortunately, the only Assassin's Creed games I've ever played are Assassin's Creed Chronicles.
Trash.
Wow.
I have Assassin's Creed Unity just because when Mitch got the game after, they forced him to get like a free copy of the game, and he was literally like, I already have it, I don't want it, and they gave it to him anyway, so he just gave it to me.
They did that to me when I tried to buy it was either Assassin's Creed 3 or Black Flag. They tried to give me a copy of Assassin's Creed 2, but in like a different package. I was just like, no, I have Assassin's Creed 2. I played that game. It was really good. I don't want it. And they were like, well, I'm just giving it to Nick. No. And I was just like, I'm not taking it. Yeah. It was, I had to like be forceful about it.
Yeah,
like, I don't want this copy of Assassin's Creed 2.
That reminds me of like when Fallout 76 came with. I remember a story of like they were like giving it to people when they were buying consoles, like whether they asked for it or not. Just like, also here's that because we need to get rid of these.
Yeah. I can personally verify that happens a lot. They'll also like they did a Fallout 76 bundle for Xbox One X for a while.
Yikes!
Like,
for a little.
That's because the
while.
name carries weight.
Yeah.
It does.
That's not so much. That's not so much anything other than that. Like that's purely if a name carries weight in the industry, consoles will try to get bundles with them because it helps them sell a console. Not that Fallout 76 helped anyone sell anything, but
Just
I mean,
just to bring it back just a little bit to the what we were talking about. Assassin's Creed, I buy every single one just because I enjoy the game. You know, I'm not burnt out yet. I just enjoy Assassin's Creed, and I think the Call of Duty, like most of the people that I know that are playing it, have told me all these good things. They're very casual gamers. You know, they're like the dude bro gamers. They just play Call of Duty and sports games pretty much. Yeah. So like that's all they know and that's all they do.
Yeah,
those are the people that keep buying. And I enjoyed Modern Warfare 2. I'm not huge on the like Titanfall did a great job of the bouncy around exosuit stuff, but Call of Duty didn't.
But even like Titanfall 2 got boring almost with that.
Yeah.
Like we played a lot of Titanfall 1. Titanfall 2 we kind of played a little bit when it first came out and we're like, oh, this is fun. That dropped off quickly. I don't know why. I'm assuming there's another game that came out or something. I don't remember when Titanfall 2 came out, but
yeah. What is time?
But yeah, I don't know. It's again for me it's just going back to what it was playing that. Like I don't know, it's sometimes it's good, like you always want to see something new in a game, but it's also kind of nice, which is why remasters always do really well. Most remasters do well when they do them, except for maybe Assassin's Creed 3. But
no one asked for it. Why are you doing it?
But like a lot of the remasters do fairly well. People will buy them just to play them, and I think that's kind of where they're going with the new Call of Duty. I know it's a different story. I know they're bringing back price, but again, different story. But I think they're trying to target that idea of it's like when you remaster something, you want to play it because it's just you reminisce. It's more of a just associate. What's the word I'm looking for? It's
cognitive dissonance.
No,
that's not.
That is
Wow. Oh, that was a term.
Multiple words.
I think what you're kind of trying to get at is like they're trying to sell it on the nostalgia
That's
factor.
it. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
You've got Captain Price like that.
You're close.
Yeah, they did not have to put Captain Price in the new Call of Duty.
No.
They chose to do it because they know that marketing and making him like the figurehead, the symbol for the game, is going to sell more copies because people are like, oh, that's a guy from the games that I really liked. Because let's be honest, the original Modern Warfare was great. Modern Warfare 2 was great. Great storylines with Captain Price. Very, very fun games to play. I never played the next Modern Warfare 3.
Modern Warfare 3 was crazy because that was when we were in the phase of getting like every single one, and like Modern Warfare 2 was like obviously like an amazing game, and we were hyped to get Modern Warfare 3 because they built it up like literally World War 3. Like they would turn the first M like upside down, and it's like World War 3, and like you're literally like in a battle in like New York.
Marketing for like 15-year-olds.
I know.
The thing with Modern Warfare 3 that I will say is it was a horrible multiplayer.
Yeah, it was such a... I
Horrible
hated
multiplayer.
that game so much, but I loved it.
the story was good because it wrapped up the other storyline.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of nice to wrap it up because otherwise you'd be left there with the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That was also the Modern Warfare 2 was the last call. I think it was Modern Warfare 2 was the last Call of Duty that actually had like a plot twist or something that happened that I was actually not knowing was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I other than that, every campaign that Call of Duty does is very predictable. It's like okay, we're
Ever
doing this.
since any other Call of Duty,
I don't know
pay
if I would
attention
say
to.
the first couple Black Ops campaigns were predictable. They were
The
trying to
numbers.
they were trying to screw with you.
Yeah,
Fair
they
enough,
did
fair
it. They worked hard on
Mason.
their twisties.
Mason.
Black Ops 1.
The numbers, Mason.
It was pretty great seeing Reznov again after being such a big fan of World at War and having him in there. And, yeah, I enjoyed the campaigns of the Black Ops games. Multiplayer, not so much.
I don't really understand how Black Ops games are different than regular Call of Duty.
It was just
How?
Call of Duty.
it's just I don't know. For me, it was almost like and it's kind of a stupid reason, but for me, it's like certain guns in the Modern Warfare games were more appealing to my playstyle. Even though statistically, if you like put a gun next to another one in each of those games, you could probably find a gun that was identical in stats and
Just different
and performance.
appearance.
But for some reason, psychologically, it just like mess with you. I don't know.
Oddly enough, it's the opposite for me. I really like the Treyarch approach because I really like old-timey guns and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and playing like World War II, and then having one set like during the Vietnam War and like all this CIA stuff in the 1960s, and they've got all these like prototype guns and stuff like that. Is really fun. I think Treyarch really managed to nail the tone of kind of the period really well in a lot of cases.
They do usually, in general, a good job with that. Like with World at War, that's still my favorite Call of Duty, hands down, out of any of the Call of Duties. I don't care about your opinion, Peter.
I didn't.
It
say
gave
was
us
a good
it gave
one.
us zombies.
It was
Yeah,
a good.
yeah,
it was
I'm
a
not
good one.
dissing the
Yeah.
game. It's just not my favorite.
Zombies is something I have a great personal attachment.
Well,
to.
I was gonna say, like, as you're saying, like, what's the difference between the like Black Ops games, and the other ones? There was the Black Ops games, and there's the zombie Call of Duty games. That's how it was for me.
Which is what the Black Ops games were. The
Yeah.
Black Ops
Oh.
games were Treyarch games, so they had zombies in them.
you're right.
Yeah,
The
'cause that
Modern
was-
Warfare
Never
games
mind,
were
I'm-
Infinity Ward,
I'm
which did
insane.
not.
Yeah, so I was gonna bring that up. Like, that's actually really fascinating because I feel like COD is one of the only franchises where that's like a thing, and I don't think it is anymore. I think they're made by one company now.
I don't think it's just Infinity Ward and Treyarch anymore. I think it's kind of been diluted since then. But
They-
Like, how does that
Sledgehammer
work?
games.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
fascinating.
Did they give up?
I think Sledgehammer's out because it's Infinity Ward,
Yeah, they got-
Activision, and Treyarch.
I also
now.
want to point out
No.
we've had this Call of Duty conversation the past like 3 podcasts. I think.
Funny enough, on the Call of Duty thing, I was editing a video going out Wednesday, and I was trying to find the statement that the doctor makes in World at War in Doris when he's like, "Oh no, the power's out. We got to turn it back on." Because you guys made a
Yikes.
comment about the panel.
That's a very unique clip.
I couldn't find
Yeah.
it. I searched YouTube forever, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just pop in my old Call of Duty game," and I was like, "I don't have it. My PlayStation 3 is not plugged in. It's in a box."
You probably would have just had to like Google search like Richtofen quotes Doris or something.
I
like
did,
that.
but I wanted. So I found the quote, but I had no video to go with it. So I was trying to find some cool video, and that's why I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go record myself playing it. It kind of also made me like look back, and I was like, I miss Doris. I miss like Verrucht and all those maps. Like Shinonuma was awesome. Even the first 2 Black Ops maps were really, really good.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed them. And then they just kind of went, I don't care now. Now it's too complex. It takes me 5 hours to figure out how to fucking turn the power on, no matter just anything. But yeah, like Jack said, we've had that conversation as much as we talked about Pokemon on this podcast and Fallout. I think those are our 3 most talked about topics.
That's the way it should be.
How we doing for time there?
We
Peter?
got like 5 minutes.
All right, I got a quick just topic. You guys been playing any games lately that you've been enjoying? Because I've been playing something.
Witcher
Borderlands
3.
3.
Witcher 3, Borderlands
Nice.
3.
A lot of 3s. Bring it in with another 3.
No can do, buddy.
Pokemon 3.
Well, it's funny you say that. I haven't really had a ton of time for games, but I've been doing a playthrough of Pokemon Alpha Sapphire where I just used a Bagon And like I had to have a couple of HM slaves, but because I like modded the Pokemon into the game myself, I made them like as weak as possible, so they're like unusable. And I'm going through the whole game using Bagon and like obviously evolving him and stuff like that. But like, man, the fact that when you exclusively use one Pokemon in an entire playthrough of a game, it gets horrendously over leveled. I'm just steamrolling these guys. I turned off attack animations so I can just wipe through entire gyms in like a couple minutes. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I've seen you on Xbox a little bit more recently. You're playing some games I've never heard of.
Yes, the big one I'm playing right now is a series of games called Banner Saga, which is really good. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but it's kind of it's a top-down
like XCOM like game.
kind of, yeah. It's top-down strategy kind of RPG with kind of some like resource management and stuff like that, but it's mostly narrative driven. So it's very, very cool. I went through if you want to play them, they're on Game Pass. There's 3 of them. I just beat the second one. So
Pull it up, Peter.
Wow.
Yeah,
What's it
I'm gonna
look
start
like?
on the third one.
Which trailer do you want?
It's a very interesting art style. Maybe just bring up the trailer for like Banner Saga 1 or something like that. They're games that were successfully kickstarted, like got probably in like 2014 or something
So
like
they
that.
gotta be shorter games then.
They're not super long. Each one is probably like a 10-hour or more campaign, 10 to 15 hour, if I had to guess. I could be wrong. Could be a little bit more than that. But they're very, very interesting. They kind of have this aesthetic that's based on like Norse mythology, but it's like their own version of Norse mythology. So it's not like you've got Thor or like Loki in here or anything like that. It's just a very
Listen, there's nothing you could have possibly.
and this is like when you're talking to characters, this is what it looks like.
If you could change your fate, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I honestly don't really know.
It's a cool art style.
It's a very interesting art style, for sure.
It definitely has that Norse kind of feel to it.
It's an indie game.
It is an indie game. But yeah, this is what combat looks like.
Peter, would it still be a good
never
game
had
if
to
it
kill.
was a tutorial?
I'd need to play it first, but I'm potentially.
I like that it has kind of a Mulan
When even the gods are dead.
Mulan style.
You know what I mean?
the
It's
Disney
not a
movie?
Norse style.
No, just seeing that one character with the tree in that shot, the art style looks very similar to how
I
Mulan.
knew why we're still alive.
Fair enough.
But I'm like, am I the only one who feels that way?
I mean, I see what you're getting at. Anyways, it's very good. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I've been really enjoying it. Just kind of the narrative bits. It's been very fun to kind of go through, and it's more an easily digestible game, which
That's
I
awesome.
really feel like I've needed as of late because I have not been gaming a lot. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, one thing that I always complain about in the relation of like not gaming a lot or not having the time to play the games you want is I started playing Dead Cells, and it's like the first time in a while that I like played a game on my Xbox with the Game Pass subscription that I pay for, and like actually started a new game instead of just playing something that I play all the time. And I really like Dead Cells. Actually, it's a really cool game. Like the idea that you go back to the start of the levels every time, but you keep like the power-ups and stuff that you've gained is kind of a cool feature. I've been enjoying it. I haven't played it a ton, to be honest, but I did really like it when I did play it.
Yeah.
See, the issue I've been having is that I'll play, and Witcher's not a game to do this with, but I'll play like 10-15 minutes. So that's like I'll do literally nothing, but it's been the only thing that I've had time to do a little bit of, and I'm trying to set myself up so when Christmas comes around I can get to the DLC and kind of get through that.
Whereabouts are you in the story? right now?
I've been doing a bunch of the side quests in Novigrad.
Okay.
So, but I've also and this is the other issue I have with open world stuff is I like to not have any kind of question marks or things incompleted.
That's a tough stream.
I have a very perfectionist
Clean
mentality towards that stuff, and it's the same thing with Origins. Like I'd play with, Odyssey when Grayden and I were playing together sometimes. I'd literally spend probably 6 hours just getting everything before I'd even touch a quest.
Yeah. I did something similar with Witcher 3 kind of in the post game. when I was, waiting to do other stuff, like it was like, okay, there's gonna be a DLC in a couple weeks, so I'm gonna go clear up some of these question marks. Did like all of the ones in Novigrad, all the ones in the starting area, White Orchard. Did like when the DLCs came out, I did all the question marks. Then I took a look at Skellige. I was like, I'm not doing Skellige. I'm not doing Skellige. I'm not spending the next 7 years of my life on a boat.
Yeah, see, that's the
Yeah,
other
that's a
thing that
lot
I'm
of
not
side
looking forward
quests.
to. No.
Yeah,
We'll see.
fast travel is your friend in Witcher 3.
Yeah, honestly, it 100% is. I also find Novigrad to be... I mean, Skellige is super annoying, but I hate Novigrad for... Oh, actually, I hate the mechanics behind the horse because every time you, like, even or angled, if you're within 20 meters of, like, a hole or an uneven surface, Roach will be like, oh, I can't run there.
Hard stop.
Yeah, Roach is a little weird.
But it's awesome game. Like, it's so fun. I've been enjoying it, even though I haven't had a chance to play it consistently. But I don't know. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to start doing some more consistent stuff.
I gotta wrap up those books.
Yeah, that's fair as well.
I love video games.
Yeah, me too.
I
Yeah.
love what
That's
they
why we have a
do for
YouTube
us.
channel.
I just love
Video games? Okay, never mind.
In fact, I'm almost thinking about getting Borderlands 3. I just kind of have an itch for kind of that loot and shoot, first person style of game.
That's all I've been playing lately. Just as I have time, little bits here and there.
I think
I've been
we should
having a lot of
explore
fun with
doing
it.
the co-op a bit more because I got the game through Evan. I feel like we should bring some Xboxes
Well,
together. do
once
some
me and
cool
Eric
loot.
beat Gears 5, we're going to jump into Borderlands 3.
Sweet. I would like to get on board with that. When do you stream?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays? I hate my
Glad you know
time.
our streaming schedules that you're technically invited to on the calendar.
I've seen a little bit of footage from the Gears streams. It seems like it's slow going.
Yeah, that's just Gears in general.
Well, maybe it has partially to do with the fact that you are doing it on the highest difficulty.
We have to. We've done
highest-
them all on the
Isn't it
difficulty.
highest from the highest? Because you have to beat it on each
Yeah,
layer?
there's inconceivable and then there's just insane. We're just on insane. That's bad enough.
So wait, sorry. Just to clarify, you started on insane, or you had to do every other difficulty
No.
level to unlock the next one?
There's all the difficulties, insane being the hardest one unlocked out of the gate.
I will give one thing to Witcher. Big thing here is their difficulty scaling is really well done.
It is.
Their hardest difficulty, especially with how they scale based on levels, is excellent. Like it doesn't feel like it's stupid over the top, but it keeps you in your level range and makes sure that you don't just go do a bunch of random shit that's beyond you.
Interesting.
And it adds a bit of challenge in combat. Like it does make a bit of a challenge in combat, but it also makes you actually utilize the weaknesses of things instead of just being like, doesn't matter. Just go beat the shit out of this thing. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Just hit the werewolf with the wrong sword.
Yeah.
I was actually really hoping that Sword and Shield would have some sort of like scaling difficulty like that because I feel like Pokemon games could really benefit for that for their replayability. Peter, stop, okay? I want to throw this at you so bad. It was a good enough segue. And then what they actually are doing though, which I wanted to see like your thoughts, for example, on this. When you're in the wild area, you can just have it where you encounter like a super high level Pokemon, and like you might just like you can't catch them right away. You have to like get them to low health or defeat them. But they're gonna be like way stronger than any Pokemon you have. They can just kick your butt. Like, how do you feel about like just encountering a Pokemon like that with like in the middle of the game? Like, what does that do for difficulty?
And about time they added something that
Actually makes it
loophole.
hard.
Do you want to know what I think?
What?
It's
It's
time to
time to
wrap up
end
the
the stream.
podcast.
Come on, you guys! I get 5 minutes per stream, and I didn't even.
We
use
talked
it.
about Nintendo for majority of the stream.
Well, it was a different thing.
It literally killed the stream. The stream was like, this is too much Nintendo. We've gone way over 10 minutes. Like, it's the technology, Matt. You overwhelmed it.
All right, well, Peter, since you're on the single cam, you can give us the shout at the exit.
I'll give us a shout out. You should go check out Live Connection. They got a
Live Connection
pretty,
TV.
Yeah, I heard good things about those. Yes.
yeah, no, they're a pretty cool bunch of guys. They have a YouTube channel, a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram. Like they're a crazy
Twitter.
bunch. I said Twitter.
And Instagram.
Do we have a Facebook page as well?
Wow. How would you know?
We're actually a Mixer community. Exclusive.
Anyway, we post every Wednesday. We stream 5 days of the week. And now we're going to go record some content for the people.
Yeah,
For the people.
yeah.
the
Because we
people.
got to give our YouTube channel some love.
I'm
too.
gonna go eat some delicious Greek food. Thanks for
Indeed.
joining
It's over
us
there.
today.
You can see it.
Bye.
Bye.